everyone, and welcome once again to Energy Transition Trends, where we review the goings-on across the energy transition universe. Energy transition equities remained under pressure during the third quarter of this year, as some of the inflationary forces that are impacting industries all around the globe continue to weigh on the space. What started with higher raw material and logistics costs have moved to higher energy and labour costs. And we've also started to see significant supply chain disruption, which has stopped companies getting the critical components they need to produce the goods they sell. Now, while we are concerned that these inflationary pressures will last for some time, and potentially well into next year, they shouldn't detract from the longer-term view, which remains as robust, as exciting as ever. As outlined in the recently released IPCC Climate Assessment Report, the world still has a significant emissions problem. And scientists are increasingly confident in saying that not only is our climate changing, but also that humanity is one of the underlying causes. If left to continue on our current pathway, not only will global temperatures increase towards 4 degrees, but we'll also start to see some of those consequences in terms of increased extreme weather events that start to become very disruptive for economies and livelihoods around the world. Now, depending on how you measure emissions, our energy system contributes to anywhere between 40 and 70% of all emissions globally. So fixing that part of our economy, alongside our food and water system, is absolutely crucial to meeting our net zero goals. Now, the good news is that the technologies supporting the energy transition are very much available, and there are 3 key powerful forces that are pushing this transition forward, which are cost, consumer demand, and policy support. From a cost perspective, technologies across the energy transition space are becoming increasingly cost competitive versus the alternatives, particularly as conventional energy prices start to rise. Not only are renewables becoming more and more competitive against conventional fuels, but electric vehicles are becoming more widely available, and even green hydrogen is starting to look cost competitive as natural gas prices have increased. From a consumer demand perspective, not only are we seeing more interest in things like residential solar and heat pumps, but also electric vehicle penetration is starting to rise. Or across the third quarter, penetration rates in China and Europe reached 15 and 20% respectively. And from a policy perspective, we're very excited about the COP26 conference in Glasgow. This climate event is one of the more important events that we've had for some time, as governments around the world meet to put in place firmly committed policies that help them reach their net zero goals in the form of nationally determined contribution plans. One of the areas in the energy transition space that really summarizes these 3 driving forces, the scale of the change required and the opportunity ahead for companies and investors, is electric vehicles. Not only in terms of the vehicle rollout, but also the broader infrastructure that needs to happen behind it, in terms of the charging infrastructure, but also making our grid more robust, resilient, and flexible going forward. Not only does that create opportunities for companies involved in the charging infrastructure space, which will clearly benefit as we start to use more EVs and demand more charging infrastructure, but also companies in the broader electrical equipment space, providing the critical substations, transformers, and software to help make the grid more robust and reinforce it as our electric vehicle usage improves. We'll also need a significant amount of energy storage too, which is very exciting in terms of its opportunity to inject additional power into the grid as we all start to charge our vehicles at particular times.